Devy Degens. Welcome back to another episode. I'm S.C. Romero, my co-host Tom Harvey. We are here to bring to you some weekend recaps of some games we are looking forward to in this week's college football right after the intro.
Breaking down the hate, man, we call it like we see it. Finding all the gems while the rest just sleeping. Freshmen to the league, we ahead of the curve. Picking out the next star, put them on the reserve. From the big time schools to the deep cut finds. Gotta know who's next when it's draft day time. Stock rising, playmaking, watch them ball out. Devy Degens, yeah, no doubt. Yo, it's time to talk the future Devy style. Prospects rising, diamond shining. Only the real ones grinding. Welcome to the Devy Degens, let's go. Let's go!
Devy Degens, what's going on? I'm S.C. Romero, my co-host Tommy Harvey. Tommy, how are you doing today?
Man, doing all right. Had a nice, relaxful day. I took off work. It's been pretty good.
There you go, man. Sometimes you just need to take those days off and just, do what you gotta do. So now I'm glad you're able to relax here, and hopefully we get you going with some of this college talk. As we both talked about it kind of in the green room, if you will. Some frustrations we are feeling in college football. Before we get that, shout out Amir. You brothers are doing God's work, distracting me from my Vikings. As the Monday Night Football is going on, we are tuned into our college one. We are keeping an eye on the Monday night game as well. Hopefully your NFL fantasy side football is doing really well. A lot of big plays happened, a lot of injuries. A lot of people didn't perform. It's just like college football, and that's really what we're going to get into today. We're going to go over the recap, some players that caught our eye. We're going to talk about some players that are we holding them or folding them due to maybe blow-up potential, or maybe they're blowing up right in front of us and it's in our face, not a good way. But let's talk about some players that caught our eye first. Tommy, we talked about freshmen over and over. So we didn't talk about that. Maybe we need to start talking about more is freshman quarterback out of Maryland, Malik Washington. He just continues to shine out here. I think he just saw a slight dip in completion this past week, 50%, but still look good. Threw over 250 yards, a pair of touchdowns. He looks like he is something that Maryland needed as far as a quarterback, a proficient passer, not pass catcher. Scans the field, looks down, doesn't let the pressure phase him. He seems confident in the pocket. Any thoughts on Malik Washington?
Yeah, this is a guy who really could have gone anywhere in the country. He chose to stay at home, go to Maryland. He's obviously the future of that program. He's I think his overall completion percentage is right about 59% right now. But for a true freshman through two games, I mean they're 2-0, so you'll take it. Ideally, you probably want to get him up to that mid 60 point, 65, 66%. But the guy seems to have it. He definitely looks like he has that it factor. Him and JKS out at Cal, both really getting it done early.
Yeah, no, it's definitely nice to see it. I agree. You definitely want to get it more, but it's nice seeing he's doing something right as a freshman, just going out the gate, right? Obviously, the better reads, stuff like that will come with time, not forcing those throws, making throws at a certain point in time. There's sometimes it's a little, should just threw a little second earlier, right? All those little details will come as he progresses, as he starts to slow down the game, but it is nice to see what he is doing outside of Maryland there. Another back, one that me and you, talked about, he's a smaller back, continued to shine for Louisville in Isaac Brown there, just off to a fire start, back-to-back 100-yard games, 8.7 yards per carry last week and one touchdown. He's just a dynamic college player right now. As far as Devy asked, we did mention the size is a little bit different there, but he is continuing to shine at Louisville, and I don't think we necessarily got difference on that, but it's just more the Devy asset. Still need to see more, but it is nice to see him. Any thoughts on Isaac Brown?
Yeah, to me, he's just really small. He profiles a lot like what Devin Achane does to me. And that's not necessarily a good thing. Achane, is a guy he's dynamic. He's really good when he's on the field. Problem is he just doesn't stay on the field enough. And that's kind of what Isaac Brown kind of profiles to me.
Right. Achane did have, I think he played 17 last year, but it's definitely something that he's not necessarily gonna get that goal line work all the time, and there always is being a smaller back going against bigger bodies.
Yeah, he played. He may have played all 17 last year, but there were quite a few games where there were quite a few games he came out early in too. So.
And it's the snap percentage really that plays. He's not necessarily your workhorse, right? He's not getting those full on workloads. They are easing them in, easing them out too, and that's something. It's good if you got someone that is HA, I guess, that can be explosive at any given play, but at the same time, that's not every single play. And you have guys like Derrick Henry that get that full workload that do some big things.
Yeah, and that's what Isaac Brown kind of profiles at on a ideal, in an ideal situation, right?
Right.
Just a smaller guy. He's not going to get a whole lot of in between the tackles work. He's more of a bounce it outside, catch ball in space, which definitely has its place inside the NFL, obviously. But is his body going to be able to hold up because of the size?
Yeah, something that we'll continue to see as he continues to grow and continues to get through. He's only a sophomore, so definitely some big time there. But next in, wide receiver Bryant Wesco. Now you and I both pumped Bryant Wesco. I thought he was the better out of the wide receiver core that Clemson does have. But it looks like he had a big game this past week, right? 7 receptions, over 100 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Talk to us a little bit about Bryant Wesco there.
Yeah, Clemson as a whole was just sleepwalking through the first half of that game, and then in the second half, Wesco really popped off. Finished the game with 7 catches, 118 yards, and 2 touchdowns, and about 95% of that was in the second half.
Yeah, and he's stretching the field too. It's not like he's just getting simple plays. He's 16 yards per catch. Actually doing some big things. He's going to continue to shine and continue to be one of those factors, especially with Antonio Williams. I don't know the full thing on him, but I know he is banged up. I don't know how long. Do you know if they said how long he might be out for, Antonio Williams?
No, I really haven't heard anything else about that. And then the TJ Moore kind of shared on Saturday didn't make all that sense either. But I guess if they're going to feed Wesco like that, they're whatever.
Seller guy, Dynasty Degens, thanks for joining in here. I absolutely love Wesco, and I love it. But at the same time, man, we're going to talk about Kate Club. That it's the ACC. It's been an odd beginning to some teams, and Clemson's
been off this year. It's been off
for sure. And we talked about prior to what they can do as far as the LSU game and what could might have impacted them a little bit, shook them, rattled them a little bit, right? So we didn't get back on this high horse because we were both high. I said 50 touchdowns. Yeah. He might not scratch 30 the way he's playing lately.
Everybody kind of expected Clemson to really run away with the ACC, but the way teams like Florida State and even Pitt, the way Pitt's looking right now. Right. Your boy Eli Holstein's tearing it up.
Yes, sir. Speaking of that, let's jump into some of the quarterbacks. We'll jump into Pittsburgh Eli Holstein just because you mentioned it right here. 519 yards through 2 games, 70.6% completion, 8 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He does throw a little frantic sometimes, so I do get that. But, man, I was telling you, Pittsburgh has a nice quarterback in Eli Holstein. This is what you want to watch. People are so excited about Kenny Pickett off of one play. Go watch a game of Eli Holstein. This is a guy that you should have on your Devy rosters. If not, go make a move for him before he blows up. He's not getting the same recognition as other quarterbacks because he's at Pittsburgh. But any further thoughts on him?
Yeah, I think he's a better version of like you said, Kenny Pickett. He's mobile. To me, if he would have stayed at Alabama, he'd be Alabama's starting quarterback right now.
100%. Oh, could you imagine? Oh, man, I would absolutely love that. No, like I said, compared to Big Ben, but he has some playmakers there too, right? Desmond Reed's a nice one for him, and he has wide receivers outfield too, but he's someone that you see the progression going. He's continuing to get better. He's continuing to understand what he is for the offense and being that true leader for the offense. And that's something you want in every single quarterback there as well. But let's go to some other quarterbacks. I'm pumping Eli Holstein. Let's talk about your guy out at the Big 12 in Baylor's Sawyer Robertson, who was in a shootout against SMU. Kevin Jennings probably so we could talk about as well. Talk to us a little bit about Sawyer Robertson, though.
Yeah, Sawyer Robertson, a guy that I've been pumping up all off season. To me, the guy looks like a top 10 pick. He, right up there with guys like Nussmeier and Kate Klubnik as far as guys who could potentially be in that top 5, top 10 pick range. Went for 440 and 4 touchdowns, 68% of his passes. I mean, that right there just screams NFL stud. You know,
Right.
6'4", 220. The guy's built, you know, it looks like he's built out of a lab.
Right. I want to bring this up real quick. Amir has ACC has multiple quarterbacks who we still don't know about Devy prospects. I think this is more so on ACC. We're looking at some of the competitions. They're starting off early and stuff. There are some guys that are nice, but it's like you're looking at Devy prospects.
Yeah.
There are higher end prospects in the SEC, the big, even in some of the Big 12 schools, but you know, Big 10 as well than you will in the ACC. I feel like.
Yeah,
Any thoughts on
you
that?
know, ACC, you're going to have guys like, you know, Darian Mensah and CJ Bailey and Eli Holstein and
Great
you
college
know,
quarterbacks.
yeah, you know, Carson Beck and, you know, even Gio Lopez. He's not a Devy guy, but, you know, for CFF production, C2C production, sure.
Right.
You know, Angeli over at Syracuse is another guy. Dylan Lonergan at you know, Boston College. Lonergan
Right.
looks like he could be a potential NFL quarterback too. I mean, he's playing in that pro style offense up there with, you know, Bill O'Brien up there, you know, Boston College. That's what really kicked, you know, Tommy Castellanos out, was the
Right.
fact that he didn't fit that Bill O'Brien style offense.
Right.
Then they brought in Lonergan, and now all of a sudden he looks like a, you know, all ACC
Something.
type of quarterback.
And that's something, you know, I mean, you know, Castellanos is actually doing good there as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he brought up Jennings. Kevin Jennings looks nice, but SMU is SMU. That's
JKS is another one there.
Yeah.
We forget about the guys out there, you know, at Cal, because they're, you know, ACC, right? You know,
Right.
you don't think of them. Yeah, you don't think of them being ACC. So
before we get to our next quarterback, though, you know, wide receiver Josh Cameron finally came too as well. 9 receptions, 151 yards, 2 touchdowns. This was an absolute shootout, though. You know, Baylor SMU. It was a great game.
It started off first play of the game. It started off
Yeah.
the first play of the game. That first play where Jennings went 75 yards for the touchdown to Brinson. I mean, granted, it got deflected. It was a great play. It looked like it was going to get picked off there for a second. Got deflected right into Brinson's arms, and he took it to the house.
And then that kind of started the whole thing going back and forth. I mean, again, they look bad. Both teams have multiple guys do well in this game. Again, double OT, so you have a little bit extra time, but still, I mean, even Robinson, he was looking in the pocket, he was throwing darts. I mean, just straight darts to guys. They were both bombing the balls as well downfield. I mean, it was fantastic. The type of game we wanted Texas versus Ohio State to be honest. You know, we wanted that kind of excitement.
And imagine if Michael Trigg would have stayed healthy during it.
Oh yeah, that would have been phenomenal as well, because he did get banged up. And to our point, we love Michael Trigg. This has been his story, though, is he hasn't been able to be on the field, and that's been the unfortunate part. But another guy that we talked about here and there, I don't feel like we've talked about enough about him. I know some of our other camaraderies in the Devy realm have, but he definitely needs to be talked about as well, is Oklahoma quarterback John Mateer.
Yep.
He looks like he's the best quarterback in the SEC. What are your thoughts on John Mateer here?
Yeah, I mean, we wanted him to really kind of prove his legitimacy by stepping up and playing, you know, big time opponent. He did. You know, he led the Sooners a huge win over Michigan, 270 yards passing, 74 yards rushing, 3 total touchdowns. I mean, the guy looked like the real deal. I mean, yeah, you're able to kind of bag on it. You know, it's on his size a little bit. You know, kind of on the smaller side. But the NFL has kind of shown over the last couple of years that they're not going to hesitate to take the best quarterback, even if he is, you know, slightly undersized.
Yeah. How about that Ohio State game 70-0? I wanted to see that against Texas, and they failed, Jamie. They failed there. But no, John Mateer does look legit. And one thing we were talking about, you know, I know in our hot takes when we were doing that, I said John Mateer is going to lead the SEC in rushing for quarterbacks. That looks like that might actually happen. He's being able to focus on the pocket. He's making some big time throws. Resurrection of Deion Burks is coming back, right? It just looks nice to have this quarterback that is as dynamic for Oklahoma, something they wanted in Jackson Arnold. He just never delivered. And guess what? In week 4, who's Oklahoma playing? They're going against Auburn, who does have Jackson Arnold. That's going to be a fun matchup. That's probably going to be the matchup that actually really sets it up. That's going to be their first SEC matchup there. So it's really going to do some big things for Oklahoma going out there and playing that. So I'm excited to see that, not this upcoming week, but the following, John Mateer versus Auburn there. But looks great as a quarterback. Oklahoma looks dangerous, and I said he's the best quarterback in the SEC. I might say Oklahoma might be the best team in the SEC right now. I know.
No, we're not going to go
think
that far
so?
yet. We're not going that far yet.
They're looking nice. I don't know, but Tier's looking great. That's another discussion, though. But another guy, we'll go into some wide receivers. One guy that you've been pumping here, Ole Miss, wide receiver Harrison Wallace. That's been your guy since we really started this show. Talk to us about that one.
Yeah, very first show we did back in the spring. I was saying Harrison Wallace could end up being a top 5 receiver in this draft class. So far, kind of proving me right a little bit. On 15 targets, he's got 9 catches and 247 yards through 2 games. A lot of people were really kind of down on him just because they thought Caden Lee and DeJon Stripling were going to be the guys there, but Harrison Wallace came in and he is the number 1 receiver in that Ole Miss room.
Yeah, no, he continues to look nice. Ole Miss, that kind of guy, that after losing Harris there, to come out here and do some great things for them, and it looks like he's stepping up to be one of their good wide receivers and dominating through the first weeks. Definitely want to see more looks towards his way because of his ability to get open, his ability to even move down the field and make some big plays as well. So
he's probably going to be involved in a shootout on Saturday. They're playing Arkansas, so that's Austin Simmons against Taylor Green. That's going to be pretty interesting.
Luckily, start on Taylor. People are still sleeping on Taylor Green, and they need to stop sleeping on him because he's actually a pretty dynamic player. Him and Omega Blake looking pretty good out there as well. Now, with that, other wide receivers that we have talked about, and one of the guys you talked about heavily as well, USC's wide receivers, both of them, Mekhi Libben and Jacoby Lane, continue to show why they should have been higher star prospects compared to their former teammates that are no longer with them that were higher star prospects. They just continue to dominate there as well. What are your thoughts on them?
Yeah, Zachariah Branch and Deuce Robinson were the 5 stars in that recruiting class.
Right.
But Mekhi Libben and Jacoby Lane really kind of pushed them out of town. Those guys transferred out, and Mekhi Libben and Jacoby Lane are looking like potential first-round picks.
And the other guys are other guys, right? It's like not necessarily.
Deuce had a great game this past weekend. I think he went for like 170 and 2 touchdowns or something. And maybe he turns into that at Florida State. But Mekhi Libben and Jacoby Lane are the real deal.
Yeah, I definitely love them, and there's some good stock value in them as well. You probably get Jacoby Lane a little bit cheaper than what you can get Mekhi Libben, but either way, if you can get one of them, you might want to start trying to pivot to them. But that kind of leads us into our next topic, and the main ingredient of the show here is hold 'em or fold 'em. We're gonna play a little Texas hold 'em because there's a good old saying in Texas: you gotta know when to hold 'em and when to fold 'em. And we can get some overreactions, some big things happening, and we're questioning our own, thoughts on how we're signing these players. Like, wait, do we need to start thinking about getting these players away, or do we need to actually hold them in because we trust the process in a sense? I want to start off by saying Clemson's Adam Randall. He had 21 carries, 112 yards this past week and a touchdown. Really just took the reins as a running back, transferred from a wide receiver to a running back, or swapped his positions there. What are your thoughts on Randall? Like, is he someone that you should hold if you have him because there's that? Or are you trying to fold him or trade? I say fold, like you're not just throwing him in the waiver, but are you trying to trade him because you're seeing this value, but it might not be necessarily that Devy value, that professional NFL value that you're looking at as well?
Yeah, I think I'm trying to trade him if I have him.
Right.
He probably has. He doesn't have high value, but you may be able to kind of not gonna say con somebody into taking him, but
what?
But I mean, yeah, but I mean, right? I mean, he's coming off the best game of his career.
Right.
Granted, it was against Troy, but maybe you can possibly unload him to somebody for a future mid to late round pick.
So, I'm gonna kind of jump the gun here a little bit. Adam Randall, let's go into Mekhi Hughes, another running back, right? A running back that, to be honest, I'm scared. I'm scared. Like I have some value in him, and it's looking very dangerous. And I want to tell myself, Oregon haven't needed to use him. He did lead the team in carries with 9, but it was very split up.
It's all
And I
garbage
think,
time carries.
yeah, it is that too, and it's very, but across the way, it's split up. Like even their passing isn't like a true one. And Dante Moore is spreading the ball around magnificently, and that's something Lanning's always complained about, or not complained, always talked about, is their depth and how deep they are at the position. But it's concerning considering he was a top transfer prospect from Tulane, back-to-back 1,300-yard carries through 2 games, 10 carries, 32 yards, and his longest run was 6 yards. Are we worried? Or let's start with: are you folding on Mekhi Hughes, or are you holding him right now?
I don't think you have any choice but to hold him right now. His value has severely tanked to where you're not going to get anything out of him, unless somebody believes in the name value, right? But I mean, if the reports are true that he's running 5th in drills, then this guy is basically nothing.
Right. Now, well, with that though, because we talk about Adam Randall, would you trade Adam Randall for Mekhi Hughes, or you think that's you're better off just holding Randall at that point?
I mean, I think 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. I don't know. I don't know how much value either one of them honestly have right now. Randall, you may be able, like I said, con somebody into giving you a mid to late round Devy pick.
Right.
I don't think you're getting anything for Hughes right now.
Right. He's definitely staying another year. We at least know that through 2 games he stayed one more year there. But
unless Oregon's just tricking us all, and come middle of the season, he's just going to bust out and become the guy we all thought he was going to be.
They could wait until they get to their Big Ten matchups and all right, now let's use him.
Very possible, I guess, but I don't know. It's kind of hard to believe that.
I guess an Oklahoma State team where they just dominated too, and granted, it doesn't help when Oklahoma State's quarterback.
He didn't get anything until late in the game.
Well, that's what I'm saying though. Like that's where you would have wanted to see it, and it doesn't help with I'm trying to play Oklahoma State's coach Mike Gundy. Is that
Mike Gundy? Yeah,
Gundy. Coming out and saying, "Oh, they're on money and stuff." They just blew them out the water. Like I think it was their biggest loss in school history. But again, I think that goes to show there is depth there. I like Jordan Davison, like De'Aaron Hill, 2 freshmen there at Oregon. But
if he's got freshmen ahead of him, then he may as well go and transfer out again after this year.
Yeah, no, 100%. Those freshmen are dynamic though. But no, I agree. But so let's talk about Mekhi Hughes. We were hyping about Iowa specifically. I said he was going to be the RB1 2026. I'm going to eat that. I did say that has not happened. He is not anywhere close through 2 games on that, but the potential of a pro is I still see the size, the efficiency, what I've seen on field. But with that, one of our guys that we've heavily talked about, our Devy QB1 as well, Florida quarterback DJ Lagway. This past week, 222 yards, 69.7% completion, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and a loss, Tommy, to University of South Florida, an unranked team. At that, to the point that they're out the top 25. Thoughts on Lagway? Is he in trouble as a Devy prospect?
I don't think he is. I think Billy Napier is in trouble there at Florida, as far as their head coaching goes. I think that offense is just way too vanilla. They have, they obviously have DJ Lagway there, but I mean, when you have athletes like, Vernell Brown and Trey Wilson and J. Michael Sturdivant, and then Dallas Wilson whenever he comes back, and Jaden Ball, and you're not doing anything offensively with,
it's very one-dimensional.
It just doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah.
I think Lagway is going to have to be in a different situation coaching wise, honestly. I don't think Napier and that coaching staff is going to get anywhere near out of him what everybody wants from him, just because it's just too vanilla there.
Yeah, we're talking about in the green room. Does offense change when they do have someone like a Dallas Wilson? When you have that 6'4" type of field stretcher that is also dynamic in the open field type of player, does the offense change around? Because right now he's not. He's been on the sideline. Does that change? That's something to see. This to me right now with Lagway losing, and I hate to put it on quarterback, but that's what it is, right? If a team loses, you put it on the quarterback. With Lagway losing, this is an opportunity to buy low, because I do like him as a prospect against an unranked team. People may be trying to get out of him at this point, so you have opportunity to go out there and buy lower on him than you possibly would. But I agree. I think there is a coaching issue. We knew Napier was on the hot seat already, even after last year. I think we're seeing it now again. And again, it's just
Yeah.
not. You have playmakers, but doesn't seem like you're using these playmakers in different.
Right.
Verno Brown is a great athlete that they need to be moving around in different formations to make sure he's getting plays down the field because he's that type of playmaker, and they're not necessarily doing that.
Well, and this Florida team is really in the danger zone right now. They could really collapse, at this point. Eight of their last 10 games are going to come against ranked teams.
I think they have the toughest schedule in the SEC, didn't they?
Yeah, they have the toughest schedule in the country. So them and Oklahoma both have ridiculously hard schedules. But Florida right now already being 1-1. I mean,
that's a win out to have any hope, really.
Yeah, well, I mean, and the 8 of their last 10 are against ranked teams. They're gonna be lucky to win 4 or 5 games.
Yeah. Maybe they present the codes by weekend's end, and then that way they have a new system in place.
Yeah, they have LSU this weekend, so it doesn't get any easier.
Yeah, no, for sure. This was supposed to be their cakewalk. Shout out UCF, not to dog on them because Byron Brown looks legit too. He's looking nice, but it's just you see some things happen. It's just like, man, that's not what you expected. But again, I still like Lagway. I still have high hopes for him. I'm hoping there is something changing. I don't want to necessarily call for someone's job at this time. You advance this offense, be creative in this offense, and make some big plays.
Well, Florida fans were calling for his job walking out of the stadium the other day. They were chanting "Fire Napier." So
wasn't me, not my words, but it's there. But another guy, we're gonna keep going. Hold and fold him. Texas wide receiver, someone we thought was gonna go out there and be the one. Ryan Wingo through 2 games, 6 receptions, 16 targets, 65 yards, and no touchdowns. What are we doing with Ryan Wingo here?
Oh man, to me, he's not getting any separation. So
yeah,
there's either something wrong with his route running or he's just not very fast.
Right.
So I mean, for him to be the supposed wide receiver 1 there, Arch is going to struggle, until somebody steps up in that room. I know Parker Livingstone. I know Parker Livingstone did over the last couple of weeks, but I mean, they're really wanting Ryan Wingo to be that guy, and until he steps up and becomes that, Texas may struggle offensively.
I think Livingstone, because you talk about separation, yards after the catch, Livingstone, I think he had like 86 to his 170 yards or something. So it's not like he's doing that much. A lot of it was off one play. One
but he's not that fast either. Watching that game the other day, he's more of a kind of a tall, lumbering type of wide receiver. Doesn't get any separation. He's just a kind of a tall guy that they can throw it up to and he can go over the top and make a catch.
Right.
I don't really have a whole lot of faith in Livingstone either, as far as being a big time target. Maybe they can start working in, Lockett and French and DeAndre Moore a little bit more, but I mean, they're not. To me, that offense is going to be in trouble until they find a legit wide receiver 1.
I do. Well, I mean, the volume speaks. They are wanting to target, Parker Livingstone as well. He's second in the team in targets there. He also has 6 receptions, but as I mentioned, he has 176 yards compared to Ryan Wingo's 65. Emmett Mosley, he was on the field, right? He was still out this week as well.
Yeah. Mosley was out this week also. Yeah. They did throw the ball a little bit more to jack injuries. Their transfer tight end. So maybe that becomes more of a thing. And then, CJ Baxter, becoming more and more healthy every week. So, RB1 and Devy.
Here's one for you. Wingo or Anthony Williams?
Antonio Williams, maybe. Is that who you're talking about?
Possibly. From Clemson,
I'd say Antonio Williams over Wingo. Mainly just because I like his skill set better. Again, he just has to stay healthy. He hasn't been. He's one of those guys who gets nicked up and doesn't play. So
right.
Talent wise, I'd say Williams.
Antonio Williams, he's nice, but he'll have to definitely go to the right team to use him in his right skill set. Wingo Kid, I thought he's someone that could play anywhere. He just hasn't been. It's really Texas offense is really kind of frustrating me in a sense too. I know they had a big win this past week, but man, I still need to see more from Arch in a sense. This they should have won the way they did this past week.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see what they do in the SEC.
The offense in Texas seems a little broken right now, kind of like Clemson. Just kind of seems a little broken.
Yeah, it seems like they don't have that fire on them. So I'm hoping something lights it up to make it a big play and for Arch to do it. But Arch is looking like, what Kate Klubnik was a few years ago, is someone that's trying to get hit, the pressure off his shoulders, the weight off his shoulders, just get the jitters out, stuff like that. But unfortunately for Arch Manning, SEC comes at you quick. When those matchups start to happen, there's big matchups you can't afford to kind of skimper around and, lollygag and just make these plays. You gotta be dynamic, be a big playmaker. So I want to see more from Ryan Wingo. Parker Livingstone, as we mentioned, looks like he is their guy that's going to be making the big plays, which is crazy because there's so many wide receivers there that I don't think we would have said Parker Livingstone. But on the flip side, let's talk about our guy. So we're with Wingo, we're holding him or folding him.
Oh man, if I can trade him, I am. I've never been a huge believer in Ryan Wingo, anyways.
Sure.
So I mean, I would try to get off of him. Maybe find somebody who does believe in him.
Would you get Josh Cameron or Ryan Wingo?
Oh man, that's a tough question because I'm really high on Cameron. I think he's got that. He's big, strong wide receiver.
Made the freak list.
Yeah, problem is he also disappears a little bit sometimes too. So I don't know, man. That's a tough question.
That's a Devy one. Only because I see Wingo slightly ahead right now still. But if you're in C2C CFF, I think you gotta go with Cameron at this point. Again, if Wingo continues to have these struggles, they have depth at the wide receiver room.
Yeah,
where Cameron could have a couple bad, right? I still don't think he's out of the equation for Baylor, if that makes sense.
See, the problem is that Wingo comes in with more expectation.
Yeah,
so you have a higher so you hold him in a little bit higher regard. But if you were to just kind of even them out, take the name away, and just watch the film, I mean, to me, it may be Josh Cameron.
Yeah. That'll be a good one. We'll have to plug that into a Dynasty Trade Calculator. Speaking of that, don't forget to go sign up to Dynasty Trade Calculator. Use promo code DEGEN, DEGEN, to make sure you get 1 month of free. We have all our Devy values in there. Trade your Devy prospects for pro prospects. See what matters. The best value you can get for your Devy players. Go get Dynasty Trade Calculator. Again, promo code DEGEN, DEGEN. But another guy that's just been blowing it out the water, and honestly, I didn't say this before, but we're gonna start talking about QB1 of 2026. Dante Moore out of Florida. I know they've been playing some teams, but I mean he's looking very fantastic. 479 yards, 77.3% completion, 6 touchdowns, no interceptions. He is looking dominant. And the reason why I say that, and I said this last year in the spring game, I said the offense looked better with Dante Moore on the field than Dylan Gabriel. Dylan Gabriel, one of the most efficient pass catchers in college football. 80% pass catchers, passers, 80% completion through the whole season. Phenomenal. Dante Moore, though, is feeding it around like there is no true alpha. He is giving the ball to everyone, giving everyone opportunity and touchdowns as well. It's not just one guy. What are your thoughts on Dante Moore?
So you have him as the QB1 2026?
I think he could be if he continues to shine like this.
This upcoming draft.
Yeah, why would he come out? Yeah.
Man, that's tough.
You're telling me if he continues to shine like the way he is. Granted, he hasn't played.
You'd have him over Nussmeier and Klubnik and Sawyer Robertson and guys like that?
Oh, yeah. The offense pushes him up. I think you go into a Will Stein offense, this is what they do to it. We've seen it. We saw Bo Nix wasn't rated at that, and he was a top 12 pick. Dylan Gabriel was great as a day 3. He slid into day 2. I think you can start talking those rooms.
Nix was still QB5 in that draft, though.
Still okay, yeah. First round QB, right? That's fair.
So I could see first round pick.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna go as far as say QB1 though, but yeah,
I think we said Klubnik. If Klubnik continues to struggle, Dante Moore is gonna get ahead of him, right? Nussmeier,
Potentially.
I think there's room that if Nussmeier continues to just not look what we wanted Nussmeier to be, there's room for Dante Moore. Now we could talk John Mateer potentially, the way he's been playing through 2 games. There could be talks of him being the QB1 as well.
Okay.
Oh, here we go. You see,
we have a comment here
Yeah.
that's really going to set me over the edge. Okay.
More over Sellers.
Yes, 100% more over Sellers. Sellers is not a good quarterback. He's not. He's a good runner. Let's stop trying to make him the next coming at quarterback. He's not. I mean, to me, he's not Anthony Richardson bad, but he's not good either. He's not a good passer.
Okay. I plead the fifth. No, I'm just kidding.
No, you want.
No. I agree more over Sellers. But I mean, I think there can be room for Sellers to potentially grow in that as well. We still need to see that from him as well.
Sellers needs 2 more years.
But Sellers looks better than what he did last year.
It's not saying much. It's not saying much.
Okay.
Last year he wasn't a good passer either. But just look at that offense. They're not doing anything, dude. They beat South Carolina State 38-10 the other day, but they had 2 punt returns for touchdowns. What's that offense doing?
Right.
Sellers is not that dude. I'm sorry, he's not.
No, that's fair. But that leads me back to Dante Moore. I mean, I think again with the offense systems you're in, with Will Stein, what he's doing there is room that there's going to potentially say it as well. And I say this too because if he comes out and wins the Big Ten, right? That they have to beat Ohio State, they have to beat Penn State. I know that they win the Big Ten. If they win the national championship, that's where it goes over to end. Coaches are going to see them and be like, "This is a national champion." There's a lot of things going on that's against that fact, but
Moore plays on a high-end team. Problem with Sellers is he does not. South Carolina is the most overrated team in the country. There is no way that they should be ranked anywhere near the top 10.
I do think if we're looking at the tape, like the pure passion, when we were talking about QB1, Nussmeier has a better arm, right? I think Nussmeier can go out there and make some big plays. Klubnik, I think, is in a sense, smarter quarterback right now. Just he's been in the game longer. He understands it a little bit more. So I do like that.
He's also very well rounded. He's also very well rounded.
But I think Dante Moore gives that juice. He gives that extra because he does have the playmaking ability that the other guys don't have as much. They can be playmakers, but Dante Moore, and it could be the offense. Because if you talk about putting Kate Klubnik in that offense, it's a whole different story for him as well. Yeah. Well,
and we have another comment by Jamie here. He says over or under 4 first-round quarterbacks in the 2026 class. You can take the over 4 just because there's going to be teams that do fall in love with Sellers. Teams that do fall in love with Drew Aller.
Let's say Drew Aller.
To where
Carson Beck, maybe.
Yeah, maybe even Beck to me is more of a second round guy, but yeah,
if he goes out and does things with Miami too. I mean,
maybe. But he's also kind of proven, he's a little bit of a head case. Where so I mean,
Klubnik more potentially.
Yeah, Sawyer Robertson.
Sawyer.
So I mean, you may be looking at 5 or 6 quarterbacks who could potentially go first round, just because you're going to have some teams that do fall in love with Sellers and Aller that really shouldn't.
Well, now let's back up a little bit because to say this, we need teams that need quarterbacks, right? And Amir says under here, New Orleans drafting the quarterback. I don't think there's no way they're going in with Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shuck next year, right? Depending on what Indianapolis does. You would think that they're drafting a quarterback as well, right? They would need a huge turnaround from Anthony Richardson or even Daniel Jones say, hey, I am fully healthy. There's no problem with me, but, they need a lot. So we have 2 right there. Pittsburgh, okay. Aaron Rodgers, right? Aaron Rodgers out, so you could argue that as well. Trying to think of, let's go through the teams. The AFC North, Pittsburgh, that's really it, right? Just Pittsburgh, I think, in the AFC North.
Cleveland,
okay. Yeah, I mean, they drafted 2. It's hard, but
they drafted 2, but they were what 3rd and 5th round picks. So I mean, there's not a whole lot of draft capital there, so they could easily go. They could easily jump up into the first round. Take one.
Let's see if a Nussmeier or like we say, Klubnik, someone's good there, whatever. So let's see. We have 2 in AFC North, right? Pittsburgh, Cleveland. Let's go over to the AFC East. We have Buffalo not getting it. Miami,
maybe. Yeah, I mean,
Maybe.
Tua was terrible the other day.
All right.
And I mean,
Shout
that's
out Quinn Ewers. This is your time, buddy.
no, definitely no. I
But
mean,
so
the Jets looked halfway decent yesterday, but how do they continue to look with
I don't know if they would get a first round though.
no,
They get
probably not
Justin Fields,
because they gave Fields some money, so I
right?
mean, maybe not,
But they would get. I think they draft a quarterback, but I don't think
right,
it's a
yeah,
first round.
yeah,
So we have 3. So let's go AFC South. Stroud's not leaving. I mean, even though he didn't do great, I don't think
but the
he's
Colts.
leaving. Colts.
Mhm.
And then we have
Trevor Lawrence with the Jags, Cam Ward with the Titans. So probably not. Yeah,
nah.
I mean, and then the West. I mean, Oakland, or not Oakland, but Vegas.
Yeah, Gino. Okay. But then again, Gino, I don't know if they get a first round. Gino would really have to just go out and do horrible for them to consider that.
He's an older guy, so maybe they
but
maybe
back
they
up,
maybe
like
they
later.
Yeah. So maybe they do draft one, kind of like that Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre type of situation where they draft one for to sit behind Gino for a year or two.
Okay, so let's say 5. We'll go ahead and give Vegas that, and then we're giving KC, Herbert, and who I'm going to say Broncos. They're all set. Okay, so let's go to the NFC West. So we're talking LA. Yeah, I think they need
LA,
them.
San Francisco.
Okay. San Francisco. They just pay Purdy, so I don't know if they're going to
Seattle.
Go that Seattle. Jalen Monroe, you don't think that's gonna have to do something? No.
Nope.
I'm not gonna count that one just because I know they have Darnold. They paid him. They brought in Monroe in the second round. We're talking first round too. We're talking like first round teams that are going it. And then who else we mentioned? The NFC West,
Arizona, but they got
Arizona.
Kyler.
Okay, so that's not happening. Okay, NFC North, Lions aren't doing it. We have the Packers.
Packers aren't doing it. Bears aren't doing it.
Vikings aren't doing it.
it.
Unless JJM goes down. JJM goes down, then they're probably going to think about it. Okay, so now we're going to NFC East.
Eagles, no. Cowboys, maybe. I doubt it because they did just give Dak a lot of money, so I doubt that. Yeah. The Giants, no, because they just drafted Dart.
Right.
Commanders, no, with Daniels.
Okay. The South.
Saints. The Saints. And then you got the
Panthers,
maybe. I doubt it, but maybe. And then you obviously have Baker and Penix there, so they're both them.
So we have 7 potential first round.
At least
seven potential teams that need a quarterback that could go into the first round. Mm-hmm. A lot of stuff will shake out on what this is actually going to happen and how this class is going to play out. But right now, I think you can't argue if we have 7. What 7 quarterbacks can we say? We can say Moore. We can say Sawyer Robertson. We say Klubnik. We say Nussmeier, Aller, Sellers. One more. Yeah. Beck. Or Mateer. We can throw Mateer.
Sure.
There's your 7.
Yeah.
Okay. There's your 7.
Or Arch if he comes out.
Arch too if he comes out and shows out. So right now, David, we're saying over. We have a guy Amir saying under though. A lot of things can change. A lot of things can change through a season. Teams can progress and make trades. Maybe someone goes out there and gets Russ. So I don't know, but a lot of things can happen there.
Well, let's not forget your boy Nico, right? I can't.
Oh, what I saw Tennessee. I don't know if it was a Fox account or a troll account, but they said no refunds for Nico there. No. So, but okay. So we talked about more. That was my Oregon rant for the show. But let's go into another quarterback. What are we doing with him? We're definitely holding more. I don't know if you want to trade.
Here's another quarterback who's getting first round love right now that we're about to talk about. So.
Yeah, Arizona State's quarterback Sam Levet, 10 for 22, 82 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions versus Mississippi State.
Was terrible. He was rattled the entire game.
And I say this, and I say this lightly, true competition, right? With the quotes, true competition. Mm-hmm. Mississippi, we talk about time and time again. When you go against the SEC, you can't count anyone out.
It shows you the difference in the SEC and every other conference because Mississippi State is widely regarded as one of the worst 2 to 3 teams in the SEC.
Right.
You go to any other conference, you're not getting beat like that.
Right.
By a basement dweller, basically.
Right. And that's exactly what happened. Exactly what happened in this past week with Arizona State playing Mississippi State. I've said this before. Sam Levet to me isn't much. Tyson's not a factor. Mm-hmm. And we're seeing how much of an impact Cam Scadaboo had on that offense. You go back and watch last year's tape with Scadaboo, he was the offense. Tyson was good, Sam Levet was, but I mean, Scadaboo did a lot, and they just haven't they don't have that same identity as they did last year with Scalaboo.
Well, it also didn't help that Kyson Brown was hurt for most of the game. So I mean, he went out really early to where they had to rely on Kanye Udo and Ridley Brown, for the majority of that game. But Sam Levitt did not look good the other day. He was rattled. That cowbell really got to him.
Yeah, and I think it's gonna be interesting to see how it plays out because through 2 games, I don't see him as the same prospect that he was last year already. It's hard.
Yeah, he had a fever, and the prescription was definitely not more cowbell. So,
but that wraps us up for our hold 'em and fold 'em takes here. Again, some guys were well. I guess Levitt, I didn't ask. Are you holding him or folding him?
I mean, after that game, what are you going to get for him? Again, name value, maybe somebody wants some, just based off what they saw last year from him. But what I saw the other day doesn't look like a first round NFL quarterback.
So let me ask you this: if you can trade Sam Levitt and Cam Coleman for John Mateer and Nick Marsh, you doing that?
Yeah.
And Devy as well. Devy, right? Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I like Cam Coleman.
But
I do. But I also like Nick Marsh. I think Nick Marsh has almost identical ability to Cam Coleman.
There's a bigger drop between Levitt and Mateer than there is Marsh and Coleman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that. So, but there you go. That's our hold 'em and fold 'em there for you. Some of the guys that we're looking at, and again, week 2, we don't want to overact quite yet, but it's starting to get to that quarter point, the season where it's like, okay, we need to really be paying attention to what's going on with these guys. Is it off the field issues? Is it training issues? Is it disciplinary? What's going on that we're not seeing what we want? Maybe it's injuries lingering that we're not hearing about, but definitely some eyes to keep on some of these players as they move forward. Right now, some of them look stellar. Some of them, not so much. So we might be trying to pivot off them sooner rather than later. But let's go into our games of the week here. Some big games happened. This past week was kind of like a just there was a lot of easier toss-ups, or we thought. I mean, some of the teams lost, but a lot of easier toss-ups. This week, we're going to talk about some of the games of the week, starting with yours, Tommy. And, I mean, truthfully, I say this before, but, I mean, it might be the real UT. But Georgia versus Tennessee. Talk to us a little bit about this game. What are you looking for?
Yeah, the line has really dropped over the last couple of days, too. I think I saw earlier it was down to 3.5. Started off the week at 6.5. I think it's down to 3.5 now. So there is some juice to there's some juice on Tennessee right now. Big time game, 3:30 matchup. It's the checker kneeling game, so it's gonna be checkerboarded all throughout the stadium. One of the prime games of the year. Tennessee Georgia always is. A lot of talent here. This game. You look at Georgia with Nate Frazier and couple of their tight ends, and then you got Tennessee with Mike Matthews looked really, really good the other day. So did Chris Brazzell, Joey Swagular. Let's call him by his real name here, Joey Swagular. He's not.
I like him better than Stockton.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, he looks good.
Yeah, I mean, like Amir said here, still missing both the corners, obviously, with Jermod McCoy being out this game and Ricky Gibson going to miss a big chunk of the season. But, they just kind of filled in there. So, with Colton Hood and Ty Redmond. So, Georgia's going to be Georgia's going to be a different challenge, though. So, I mean, it's going to be a good game.
No, we like. I can't remember if we brought him up in the IDP. I had him on our sheet, but Aaron Carter, your linebacker, he's really stepped up. I figured that would be the case with James Pierce no longer there and him coming in. Definitely could be something nice. This could be big. Does Tennessee pull this upset up? I'm going to ask you. This is this on the spot. Tennessee pull this upset off? Yes or no? 15 versus 6.
No, Tennessee hadn't beaten Georgia since 2016. It's not going to happen this year either, I don't think.
All right. Tommy says low. We'll see. Don't worry. We'll make sure we catch
this. I hope. Problem is,
you already said low.
Problem is, we haven't beaten Georgia since 2016. We haven't won in Gainesville or Tuscaloosa since 2003. Does any of that change this year? I don't know. I hope so.
Tommy said no. We will make sure if they win, we're gonna say. But you said no here, Tommy. No, but it's to be good. I want to see him fly. I want to see big things.
Prepare for the worst, hope for the best, right?
There you go. There you go. They do have some playmakers on both sides. I think I like more Devy prospects on Georgia's side, obviously, but it is nice to see what Tennessee's doing, and you definitely might have more CFF production on Tennessee with there as well. Our next game here, though, I'll take 3.5. I'll take that spread for sure. I think I can take that spread. 3.5. That's not bad, but I think Georgia.
You can take Georgia with it. You go give the points to Georgia.
No, I'll get Tennessee 3.5 plus 3.5.
Okay. So you think it's gonna be a close game?
I think it could be close. Yeah, okay. You're at home. The Tennessee one it's big, so I think it can. And Tennessee has come out and played, and it sets more dynamic, more explosive than what Georgia has. But that could be something that Georgia does is slow them down a little bit more and not have those bigger plays for Tennessee as well. So, but I'll take the spread. Why not? Next one, though, we're going to talk about here. A big one. Well, I guess not as big as we thought it would have been, but Florida versus LSU. LSU 2-0. Right now, the spread is 9.5 in favor of LSU, minus 9.5. 2-3 weeks ago, I would have said this is game of the week. Now, after losing to USF, I don't know what this could really entail. I think it's in LSU, if I'm not mistaken. So, gotta give it to LSU. Nussbaum started to look great, started to go in. Aaron Anderson, your guy, one of the leading wide receivers there. Weeks coming out here and dominating, as his linebacker for him. Kadam Durham, absolutely stud. I want to say the same for Florida. If I'm going side by side, I give Florida some of their wide receivers. Like if Dallas Wilson was there, give it to him. I like Lagway more than Nussbaum. But I think Baton Rouge is crazy, man. I
don't like that. I don't like the way the Florida offense looks.
Yeah, 100%.
That's the main thing. Florida
defense looks great.
Right. The Florida offense doesn't look good. Like I said earlier, it's too vanilla. There's just something not right with them. And LSU's defense showed out, a couple weeks ago against Clemson. And I don't think Florida's as good as Clemson's offense. So I think LSU is going to win this game pretty handily.
McCarthy just threw a pick six.
Yep.
You should try to trade him away. McCarthy's not what people want him to be. That's a whole different discussion here. No, I think LSU could run away with this. And to be honest, if it's a blowout, we might see Napier gone next week. If it's a blowout,
potentially.
But I think there is some big things happening here. I want to see more from Lagway.
Yeah, I mean, especially with what Florida has coming up, if they lose, if they get blown out in this game, they could potentially really collapse.
And he's not looking. The thing is, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, 340 yards. He's not looking horrible. It's just there's no excitement to their offense, and there should be. They have exciting players, and there should be, and there's not. There's more excitement in LSU, which I think is kind of a more stale offense. You don't have that same oomph, I guess you can say, right? But we'll see. You take LSU in that one?
Yeah.
Okay. You take it heavily, 9.5, more than that?
Yeah. I'm gonna say LSU wins this pretty handily. I'm gonna say they win anywhere between 14 and 17.
I'd take the line if they were at Florida, but then being at LSU, I can't. I think LSU's good. That stadium. I've been to Florida LSU when they played Tim Tebow. Phenomenal. Tim Tebow's great Florida quarterback, but this isn't the same kind of way for it. Yep. So next one here, though, is going to be an actual good one as well. Texas A&M at 16 versus Notre Dame at number 8. They are in Notre Dame here, so it's going to be fun to watch. Marcel Reed coming out, 509 passing yards, 7 touchdowns, no interceptions. Mario Craver, 13 receptions, 3 touchdowns, 236. Notre Dame's only played 1 game. They lost that game. Carr came out. CJ Carr looked 221 yards and 2 touchdowns and an interception. Jadarian Price actually was the leading carry. They definitely need to get Love more involved to make plays. If Love isn't involved, Notre Dame struggles, in my opinion. And I think hopefully this is something, but you're going against an SEC team that has good players on defense. Torrey York's a solid linebacker, right? They have good playmakers all around that can help stop that run and help contain Jeremiah Love, which will put pressure on CJ Carr. Being at Notre Dame, they're favored -6.5. I think what are your thoughts? I want to lean A&M. I think I lean A&M. It's hard, but
if this game was in College Station, yeah, I would say A&M. But this game's at Notre Dame. Notre Dame just likes to cut their grass on their field just a little higher when they're playing fast teams, to kind of slow them down a little bit.
There you
go. So I'm gonna say Notre Dame's gonna win this game
for sure. Now we're talking about Marshall Reed here. Is he a Devy prospect at this point, or is he more CFF?
He's CFF to me. He's just really
smaller.
He's too skinny, man. I mean, he's what 5'10", 5'11", 180 pounds.
80, yeah, I mean, like that, 180, 186.
Really small. I mean, if he was thicker, then sure. Problem is, I mean, being short and skinny is really going to work against him.
So, what about CJ Carr? Do you still need to see more from him, or you're?
He's a true freshman.
Only one game, one sample, so
we'll see. Yeah, I mean,
looks nice. So hopefully, I mean, he could turn out to be one of their top quarterbacks that they've had. And then Eli Raridan, their tight end, 5 receptions, 97 yards. Definitely someone that's a big focal point in their offense. It's going to be exciting to see him. He's potentially a day 2 pick in the NFL, as he continues to grow up the ladder as well.
Well, they're going to have to get guys like Malachi Fields and Will Pauling involved in this offense if they're going to stand any chance of making the college football playoff.
Right. For big things happening. This one was recently added, because we weren't necessarily talking about, but I guess we need to now. South Florida, number 18, 2-0 versus Miami, number 5, 2-0 in Miami. Byron Brown, we talked about them beating Florida already. Absolutely playing lights out football right now. Only one passing touchdown, 473 yards, 109 yards on the ground for Byron Brown, though 2 touchdowns as well. You really can't tackle this guy. This guy is just bulldozing over some players right now.
Yeah, he is. To me, he's not much of a Devy prospect. I don't like him as far as being a passer. But he's doing what South Florida needs him to do. I mean, he's basically that entire team right now.
And on the flip side, though, he's doing what South Florida needs to do. Miami's leading there 2-0. We talked about Beck. You mentioned the getting things right is not being so much off the field, just being a talented football player. Teams could like him as far as a prospect, say, hey, he's first round potentially. 472 yards, 4 touchdowns. Mark Fletcher leading the way with 152 yards and 2 touchdowns. Then you have Malachi Toney coming out, 162 yards and 1 touchdown out 12 receptions. Ruben Bain, shout out him, leading the team with 9 tackles as well. But Florida looks nice. It's not as explosive as it was with Cam, but they could potentially get further than they did with Cam just based off the field general type of way Carson Beck can control the team there. What are your thoughts with them?
Oh, man, that wide receiver group is really confusing. I didn't like C.J. Daniels' fit last year at LSU, but now at Miami, he actually looks halfway decent. Malachi Toney looks like the truth there, true freshman wide receiver that just really is taking over in that wide receiver room for them. And then I like Elijah Lofton at that kind of tight end H-back type of role that, he's going to may get a couple carries here or there. Really nice hands coming out out of that, tight end spot. I like what Miami has. I like the South Florida story, but I think Miami wins this one.
So where are they favored? 18.5, Miami.
Ooh, that's a hefty line. I don't know if I'm touching that line, but
yeah, that's Florida. I mean, it's South Florida. I mean, you can still get some home field, right? Some fans there in Miami there, University of South Florida, but.
Miami doesn't necessarily have the tradition of having a raucous home field crowd either. So
yeah, so there is opportunity for them to go out there and make some big plays, but that'll be a fun game to watch. I think that one's gonna be eyes are on it, especially since they just beat Florida. Now going Miami, if they go out there and beat Miami, who's number 5 and number 18, are they a top 10 team?
Yeah, I mean, if South Florida goes and beats Miami, you're probably looking at them being a top 10 team. I mean, that'd be wins over Boise State, Florida, and Miami the first 3 weeks of the year. They'd be they'd be the clear group of 5 favorite to make the college football playoff. So I mean, I'd say so.
That'd be nice, though. We'll be excited to see that. Last but not least, those were our games of the week. We're going to talk about some games we want to watch this weekend, just based on what we've seen and some excitement and what we need to see more of. I want to start us off with Colorado versus Houston. You know, we're going to see more Kaden Soldier. I want to see what
are we? It looks like he kind of lost his job. It looks like Salter kind of lost his job there this past weekend.
To Lewis?
No, to was it Staub? What in that his name?
I need to catch up on. There you go. Let's go take a look. But Connor Wyman at University of Houston, want to see more from him as well.
Tanner Koziol, the tight end, Tanner Koziol,
who could be one of the top tight ends we're talking about when it's all said and done as well. Just making it go out there and do some big plays as well. So Colorado, that's gonna be something I need to watch in because I did not see that. So let's go ahead and look at it. But I'll definitely tune in. It makes me want to watch it more. Does someone have more juice than what I thought Salter would have and what Wyman will be able to do, you know, again, with that, whether our wide receivers are going to get more involved because, like we said, Tanner Colson does look like the reception leader or the target person for them that he's going to, just easy escape going out there to his tight end. What are we missing for Wyman? Because we were talking about him as a potential Devy prospect when he was at A&M, transferred out now to University of Houston. What's he going to do? Is he going to go out there and make those big plays as well?
I mean, he's looking pretty good so far.
For sure. Next one, I mean, this is what you kind of hinted at earlier. Arkansas versus Ole Miss, Austin Simmons versus Taylor Green, Harrison Wallace versus Omega Blake. You know, there's big names. I say big names, but also names we're not talking enough about at the Devy realm. Austin Simmons is getting some love. Taylor Green, I don't think is getting that love at all. Maybe because he's at Arkansas. Not talking about Omega Blake. And even with, you know, us students with Harrison Wallace, guys we're just not talking enough about, but all have some potential.
Kewan Lacey is another one.
Oh, yeah.
That guy has broken so many tackles. It's just been crazy. This game has the potential to be what SMU and Baylor was this past weekend. Just an absolute shootout with teams just kind of running up and down the field. I think Taylor Green and Omega Blake are really, really good duo there. But Ole Miss, Austin Simmons, and, you know, Trey Wallace, I think that's going to be I think that matchup with Green and Blake versus Simmons and Wallace is going to be dynamite. Yeah,
it's going to be a good one there. What they can do and how they can explode. I would be excited to see a shootout, like you said, with Baylor and SMU, because that'll be fun to watch as well. And it'll just help me improve my Taylor Green stakes, you know, and hopefully go out there and get it. He's sold. I can see him test super well at the combine and just bump up. I'm not going to say first round, but maybe into day 2 potentially, just because of what he does athletically as well. Last one here, though, USC at Purdue. Another one that could be something to watch and make it worthwhile. This is what I believe you had put on. Any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I'm just really interested to see what this Southern Cal offense looks like going across the country. You know, we've seen them play out west. We know that they can operate kind of in that western, in that west time zone. Can they go out east and, you know, do the same thing? Because that's a long trip. You know,
coast to coast.
Yeah, kind of a coast to coast type of deal. I think Purdue is in Central Time Zone, but still a 2-hour difference. And with Mekhi Lemon and Jacoby Lane and Waylon Jordan, they have a ton of weapons there. Jane Mayava, you know, has really been putting together a really solid season for Southern Cal.
You mentioned Waylon Jordan, but I would go on the flip side, though. I mean, Devin Mockabee, you know, someone that's been leading the charge for Purdue's running game as well. Just a guy that can do it.
That's really all they got. It's really all Purdue has. I mean, they're gonna have to lean on Mockabee to basically do everything for them.
But we've seen it before where USC gets dismantled by a solid run game, right? So that's potentially something we see again with someone like Mockabee, who can be a pure solid, just straight through your tackles, get it done, and just kind of wear out a defense in that type of realm. It could be something. But then on the flip side, I think you have Purdue that could be more conservative, where then you have USC that can have more explosive plays. You talked about the wide receivers in Mekhi Lemon, Jacoby Lane, both can stretch the field, both can do things in the middle of the field, and then Waylon Jordan already has over 200 yards. definitely someone that has some speed to him, some elusiveness, can make it get open there. Purdue's defense isn't the same. They are 2-0. Necessarily the same as last year, so there are some questions on what can happen there. But it'll be nice to see. And this, like you said, could be a test for USC to just move their ladder up in the Big Ten before they get into further matchups as well. But that's all we have for today's episode. Again, catch you up on the recast players to watch where we're at on some values here. Stay tuned for us. Next Monday, every Monday live at 6 p.m. here. We're going to go finish off this rest of this Monday night here as we continue to look at these Devy prospects. Don't forget to drop. Wait, here comes one. JB asked the last minute question. Who wins, Georgia versus Tennessee? How do you see the game play out? We already said this one. He said Georgia. I said I would take the Tennessee line -3.5. But Tommy has his reason on why Georgia wins.
Yeah, Tennessee hasn't beaten Georgia since the Hail Mary in 2016. So until they beat Georgia, I'm not going to pick them to beat Georgia.
Mm-hmm. I'll try to get Tommy to do a live reaction when Tennessee wins, so we can make sure y'all see that there for y'all. But no, for everyone with the Dynasty DJs, we are the Devy Degens. I'm S. Ramiro with my co-host here, Tommy Harvey. Until next week, we hope all of y'all's times go well. We're in the SFB Bowl and also the Tadpole Bowl. Those are going well. Hopefully, y'all's teams are doing well as well. But until next time, thanks for joining, Jamie. Until next time, we are the Degens, and we will see y'all next week.